Hello and what is up, guys? Rye here and welcome back to some more Gearcity. We're continuing off with the Maven Motor Company, of course based in good old-fashioned Canada here. Yeah, we're not the biggest company yet, of course. Like even looking at the Aaron Johnson Motor Company, yeah, they're worth 285 million and we're worth just 8, so that's not reassuring at all. That's okay. So we left off, we just built our first sports car, the Maven Motors MK Sport. I think what we're going to do is completely work on a new MK and MK, or MK1 and MK1, or S1 I think is what they are. MK and MK1S. Okay, yeah, there's now tutorials in the game. The game updated a bit, so there's like tutorials and stuff, and it's kind of annoying, not gonna lie. So there's the MK1 and the MKS1, right? So the MKS1 was just a rebadged car, I believe, and then the MK1 was an actual car we built. It looks pretty bad. It looks pretty atrocious, not gonna lie. The MK Sport looks wild, which is, you know, exactly what I'm looking for. I think what we're gonna do though is make a new MK with the MK1. So that's a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. We got a 2.7 4-cylinder. Okay, that's still a pretty small engine, but 20 horsepower is honestly pretty good for 1910. Let's just do a sim of a year real quick. We'll finish off this year, I think, and just see how things are doing, because I want to make sure the company is not going under. That's definitely something very important for any car company. You want to make sure there's a steady flow of money. You don't want to lose money for sure. And we are in I think the hard difficulty, not the hardest, but the second hardest difficulty, which is, you know, I say a lot. It's fairly easy. Unless you mismanage everything. Like, you have to manage some things, like pensions and stuff. We have to make sure we put money into our pension fund, which we're actually going to do our first, what, $50,000? Sounds fun? So what's going to happen is, basically, you have to put money aside for people retiring in your company at some point, which is a pension fund. And if you have money in your account, you actually earn, you know, money back on it, basically interest, from investments and things like that. I say a lot, my gosh. And I say I'm a lot apparently too. So each time someone retires, obviously the amount of money it costs goes up per month, so that's how much the payout is. So if you owe money in the pension, you'll actually lose money. But the trick is putting money into the pension before you start losing money, because it grows on its own. And right now no one's retired yet, because we just started obviously the company. We're gonna do 6 more months, I think. So we'll do 19, 12 and a half maybe. We'll see what we're doing there. So our liquid assets is 5 million, which is pretty good. So that includes all of our stocks and things like that. I think are we just investing? Okay, I totally forgot that we were investing at all. Not gonna lie. Looks like our investments have done pretty well. So we bought into Coal Engines Motor Company. I don't know why they're called Coal Engines. We bought into them at $9 a share, and now they're worth 32. And Generic Cars, which is General Motors, was quite low, quite cheap as well. So the trick is finding the startup companies, and you just sort of go through and look at the lowest market cap at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, you sort of just always want to buy the lowest market cap. It is high risk because they can go bankrupt, and there's like a decent chance they do go bankrupt, but you honestly just want to buy the lowest and roll the dice. Really, it's better than doing nothing. And those 2 ones I bought into are actually quite successful. GTH looks like it's a good choice. We'll invest 600,000 in that. That's 30,000 shares, and we'll just sort of go through and just see what else. So the trick is reinvesting your money, so that way later in the game you don't really have an issue. It looks like also Owly, which is the equivalent of what, Owly? Yeah. We'll do a quick save because the game always likes to have issues and things like that. What we'll do actually is another 6 months. I know we're sipping a lot, but I think our cars are doing quite good right now, and we don't want to break a good thing. We got a good thing going right now. We don't want to ruin it, I hope. Okay. So yeah, we finished. No, we haven't finished the year. 1 more month. Of course, it always stops usually at month 12 because it's like the final month of the year. So we have some money. We have $300,000 in the bank. We're making some decent money right now. Our vehicle sales are kind of stagnant, which is better than declining, I guess. If we go to our stats here, we can see Maven. How much cars did we sell last year? Where is Maven? Maven? Where are we? Let the search here. Okay. Oh, we sold only... Okay, that was really low. We sold only 800 cars last year. Wow, that's depressing. We actually took a loss of $66,000, but that includes spending on our stocks and stuff, or our pensions. So we put $50,000 in the pensions. Do we lose money? Look, and our pension's actually growing. That's good. We can get a bigger line of credit. We'll actually do that because that's an emergency fund if we need it. Okay, so what we're going to do is redesign the 2.3 Gen 1. We'll make a Gen 2 of that, I think. And we're going to make it better in general. So the Gen 2 cheap 4-cylinder is going to have 20 horsepower, so it's going to be competing with the sports car now. Oh, and we can actually probably go to, oh no, an F-head is the better head type. So we'll do that. So 30 horsepower, more horsepower than the sports car. Just kidding, we'll actually do 20 horsepower, I think is reasonable. We'll save some money where we can, and we'll finish this engine in 1 year. 2.3, and we'll call it the Gen 2 like that. Sounds good. We'll go like the 2.3 Gen 2. That sounds cool. And we'll actually go ahead and modify our 2.7 Gen 1. I think we'll actually make a newer, better version of that. Oh, it does have the F-head as well. So we'll do 30 horsepower and 95 pound-feet of torque. Sounds kind of 40 horsepower. I think that sounds very reasonable, I think, honestly. And we'll finish that also in 1 year. So we're actually going to do a full redesign of all of our cars, I think. 2.7 Gen 2. That sounds reasonable. So now we've got two engines. The 2.7 Gen 2 and the 2.3 Gen 2 making 20 and 40 horsepower respectively. Not bad engines. Not bad. 18 mpg, which is slightly worse than the previous gen. That's okay, though. The Gen 2 is also, okay, 1 mpg worse. That's not great. Let's remake the chassis, because the first gen, actually, the first gen is riding on the... Yeah, the MK Sport is riding on the outdated chassis from 1905 still. So we'll make a whole new chassis for all these cars. We'll keep the same 4-cylinder, I think. And I think we'll keep the 4-cylinders going for this generation, then after that we'll split off to something better. We're going to change to, what, like a trailing arm suspension? A bit more expensive, but also a bit less terrible. Our sports car had solid axles, which is absolutely hilarious. We can go for a ladder frame still, and we'll make it, yeah, 12 months is fine. And the CH Gen 2 is being constructed, and then we'll go for, of course, upgraded gearboxes. We still have non-synchronized gears, which kind of sucks because they're awful in just about every way. Except for cost. That's where they're good, is cost. $100 for the new transmission, and then that could handle, I think, the base engine. 75. We can actually make it a little bit less. There's 76 pound-feet of torque it takes. It's perfect. $100 per unit, and we'll go for the HM1, which is, I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool. And that one is 95 pound-feet. You know what? We'll leave it at the 100 capability because we might get a bigger engine at some point with this transmission. I'm not too sure, really. Finish it. Please finish in a year. There we go. And we'll keep the same name theme going on as well. We're going to do a save real quick because, again, you know, this game is not perfectly stable. It's pretty stable, and it's gotten a lot better. I've played this game for years. It's gotten a lot better throughout the years, but it's not perfect still. Having some water while we're playing some games. What more is there, you know, in life than playing video games, having water, just hanging out? Okay. So we're making good money now. It looks like our OEM parts revenue is actually pretty high. That's, if you guys don't know what OEM parts is, original engine manufacturer, equipment manufacturer. Basically, we're selling parts for our cars from our dealers and things like that, which is good, obviously. Looks like the MK Sport is a pretty poor seller, but honestly, it's just an old car in general, so I didn't expect it to be that great. We see our stock holdings. So GTH is already worth 275 million. We're gonna sell our generic car shares for, look at that, now we got bank now, a ton of money. So we can actually really go and expand. We're gonna actually invest in Audi, I think. We'll put actually 6 million into Audi because they're so cheap right now. We bought 3% of them, and we'll buy some of Samewise as well. We'll buy that. They aren't, honestly, I feel like Samewise just never does that great in any game, but we'll invest in them. Oh no, ooh, Cheva, which is Chevrolet or Chevy. We're gonna put a bunch of money in that. Screw Samewise. Samewise is out. That's very cheap. That's gonna go up. They actually might get bought out, I'm feeling like. Or, let's go back to our own stock. And let's go back to our own stock. We're gonna go to Coal Motors. We'll sell that because I think the companies, and GTH as well, they've gotten pretty big, and we can actually reinvest that money into some smaller companies. And there's a couple smaller ones, I think, besides that. Who else did I see that could be, that was new? Buick or Bloust. What else? Clyde is massive, 1.1 billion, crazy. So typically you want to invest in American companies near the beginning of the game because they have a way higher chance of success than any other company, typically. But obviously I've got a significant amount of hours in this game, so I'm just clicking through every stock and just sort of seeing real quick. We'll do Cheva or Chevy, and we'll just do several million into that. We'll do 2.5. 8% of Chevys now, whereas that is definitely a solid investment, and we'll go the next 5 months, or 6 months, sorry, and get our new chassis, our new engines done. I think we're also going to make maybe an even higher performance vehicle. Like, let's go for the land speed record. We made a sports car last episode. I think we can go for an even better one. Our money is definitely drawing up right now. Our income is going down. What is the current land speed record vehicle? So we'll go to this magazine, which is like all your superlatives, like stats, superlatives, sure. So the land speed record right now for a production car is 111 miles an hour from the 1906 Chicken Solgiemi. Yeah, oh, that's a great name. We have to beat can we beat 111? I don't know. I don't know. If we modify an engine, our 2.7, we probably can't get there. Like if we go modify vehicle, let's make a new MK Sport. Give it the only have one trim, I think. Oh wait, we need to have a 3-speed non-synchronized. We'll keep the same body for now. See, this only does 57. This doesn't even hit 60 miles an hour, but that's quite fast for 1906. Pretty fast sports car in general, I'd say, to be honest, for 1906. Like it's not awful. Weighs 1940 horsepower, 1940 pounds, quite light. This is a middle class sports car anyway. We're gonna make the MK. Maven Motors. We'll just call it the MK. We'll call it the MKS. Sure, why not? We'll keep the same name theme going. I want to actually name the cars at some point. I'm not sure exactly. Let me know, guys, down below. What should I name my cars? Like give me some names for a sports car at least, and for the sedan and the Phaeton. Phaeton's not going to be around too long though, because they do dry up in popularity. And we'll give this thing a very cheap engine, and we'll do the 2-speed non-synchronized. So we have the 2nd generation Phaeton. We're going to actually change the body on that a bit, just because the body's kind of ugly. Some of these are even worse. Honestly, the first one, oh, I like that blue one. Where's up? I'm not looking. Was it? Okay, it was the gift. I kind of like that. You know, it's a little basic. We got 4 doors, nice and cheap. This is still a very low-end vehicle. How much does the MKS cost? $783. We're not copying Lincoln with their names, by the way. This Maven is like a not a value brand, but it's like the equivalent of Ford in my eyes, I think. Just, you know, American or Canadian in this case. I think maybe some muscle cars at some point. 34 miles an hour. Oof, is that bad? But it's a cheap car. We're gonna call this the MK. It's be the MKS. We'll call it the MKA. Wait, is the okay? It's uppercase for the MK Sport, uppercase K. So we'll call it the MKA, and we'll do the MKA with the we have to change the transmission, don't we? Yeah, we do. The MKA. No, do we want to do a sport model for the MKA? We can check here and let's see what the popularity is. So Phaeton is still increasing in popularity, but sedan is the king. So I think we'll do performance sedan. It won't be as good as the sports car, probably weight-wise, but we'll do a... oh, the sedan is licensed. Oh, we haven't even designed our own sedan yet. Oh, wow, that's not good. Not ideal. Not gonna lie, we'll make our own sedan here with the... We'll have 2 engine choices, a 2.3 or a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine, and we'll do like just a nice quick body. So we can design our own bodies. I think for the next generation we'll design our bodies, but for this generation we'll just leave it as is. It's fine. And we'll do this 1910s kind of a sedan wagon body. It's more of a wagon. So we'll do it for 1 year. That's gonna be quite expensive though. We'll do it for 2 years for this new model. How much are the other models costing? This is gonna cost... Okay, so $500,000 for the new MKA, which I think is imperative, or yeah, it's imperative that we get that out this year, or next year. In 2 years, we'll get the Planet. No, we're gonna call this the MK. I don't know, like the MKM. The MKM. We're not getting great fuel economy apparently. Only 13 mpg for a sedan. Well, that's fine. The MKM and the MKM. You know, Sport. What a great name. I'm so great at naming cars. I'm usually good at naming cars, but for this, because you guys are looking at it, I want to make sure. Oh, this is an upper middle class sedan. Rip. Well, I guess we'll make an upper class sedan now. Yeah, that was not ideal, but we'll keep it like that. This is an expensive sedan, to be honest. The MKM Sport. 0 to 60, never. That's perfect. So the MKM Sport is actually quite slow. Only 44 miles an hour. The MK8 is 34, which is just depressing. Let's save the game. Let's go back and license out our chassis, and we're gonna do it for 0. For the sign-up fee. and all that. Just so we can make some extra cash, hopefully. Now let's do a month. I just want to see how much we're losing, because we're going to lose money. Okay, 40k a month. We've got about 11 months of income, not including tax season, which will probably get a rebate. I'm just trying to think what's happening here, you know? We're losing 36 grand a month right now. 50 grand, that's not good. That's not a good month. We do also own shares in a company, which means they could be paying us dividends, which Shova is actually paying us dividends. We can actually check how much we're getting from that shortly. And Shova's actually grown by quite a bit. They've actually doubled so far since we bought into them, and Owly's doing good too. The company is in very good shape, I'm not gonna lie. This is exceptional shape. We should actually invest more. Oh, 1914. Oh yeah, World War I just started. Oh no, oh yeah, I just remembered. Oh no. We're in Canada, which is part of the Allies, which is getting involved in World, because we're, you know, allied to the British, and we're getting involved in World War I here. That's not great. The US doesn't really get involved majorly at all. So, this is World War I. Of course, the first of two major wars in the world. What happens when countries are at war is, there's two stages. It's like a limited war, where it's not like major, and like, you still function as a country. Just slowed sales and things like that. And then there's like a major conflict, which means it's basically, you're in a war zone, and Canada is considered to be in a major conflict. There's a chance of your factories getting destroyed at bombing runs, etc. But since we're in Canada, we're not in the Europe, there's no chance of that happening at all. So, but we still have to produce goods for the war effort, i.e., you know, the allies here. So basically, we have four options. We can either build munitions with our factories. We can build munitions just with our factories outside of our country, which we have none. We can do it just with our home factories, which is, you know, basically all our factories. Or we can just do no munitions. So what that does is basically we build ammo, in this case, for the war effort, and we get paid per month. Pretty much like a government contract, which is good. We'll do all factories, doesn't really matter. On the negative side, though, is I totally forgot, but for the next several years, Canada will not be a viable place to produce cars, which we sell in the US. So we have to build a factory in the United States. And honestly, it's going to be in New York. Because where else would you build it? We'll do a $3 million factory. A pretty good factory in New York, honestly. Let's actually, might as well do like... New York's a big city. Let's do a $10 million factory. That sounds excessive, but I'm going to do it anyways. It'll be done in almost 2 years. We're going to sell our Owly stock, or some Owly stock, I think. We'll sell some of that just to keep afloat for a while. Because the stock's going to increase in value as we go on. Because right now we're not going to sell any cars. Because we can't produce them, which sucks. Now we're losing a lot of money. We're building a factory though. Once we run out of money, I will sell more Owly stocks. So they're actually a European company. So they're actually stock shrinking. We're actually gonna sell that because I want to build this factory. And honestly, we should invest more in Shova. We'll put another $1 million into them because they are the way to go for the future. And we've got the MKA here. We'll actually get an end production of all of our cars. The MK Sport, MK1, and MKS1. And the MK is going to sell for just $1,000. That sounds reasonable. It sounds expensive, honestly, but it's competing against the other ones there. And we'll do another 6 months and see what's happening. So we're losing only $250,000 a month, only. Our liquid assets have increased, not by much. We have taken out a lot of our liquid assets to pay for the new factory, obviously. But this factory is actually making us good money. So, it's making us good money. We're done our way. How much is our factory? How much is our production? Oh, it doesn't tell us how much we're actually spending on building the factory, which is kind of weird because it's supposed to. Weird. It should say construction costs. Strange. Well, we're gonna keep going anyways, I guess. Last year we sold barely any cars because the war, obviously. Yeah, we'll just do another 7 months. We'll do to 1916. So the World War I ends in the middle, I think, of 1918. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, though. It's around the middle of 1918. I can't say exactly. World War II starts up. So basically, this time is the hardest time, I'd say, for the game until like late game. So we sold no cars. And in 2 months, we'll have a new factory up and running in New York, which we will actually sell cars in, which will make us a ton of money. I think, anyways. Open up a new branch in New York. We've got a lot. Well, we got $1 million right now in the bank. The branch is going to cost us $300,000. But New York is a very rich city. I'm actually doing it in Philadelphia as well, and in Boston. max size branches. Now we're going to sell the MKA. We'll do apply to all to make sure it's selling in all the factory or in all the new branches. The MKM will start at, what, 1,300? And the M Sport will start at 1,950. Sounds reasonable. This would be 1,600. So we got a good range of vehicles now, I think. Not terrible. We'll do 1 month here and see how it's doing. Okay, so right off the bat, our best sales day ever. Just because New York alone is selling so much cars. If we go actually sort by city sales, New York is buying 270 cars, which is absolutely insane. Good on us. So although, our market cap's actually 40 million now, which is not bad. We're actually going to go ahead. Do we have any extra? We have extra factory space too. We're going to go ahead and build a new branch in Baltimore. And we'll go to Buffalo, New York, Richmond, Norfolk, and build some more branches. Now, you're limited to how much branches you can build in a year. Only 7 on hard mode, because it makes it a lot harder, to be honest. But we'll start doing more and more branches as we go on, I think. We've already opened, like, over double. We took another loss this month, but next month we will make a massive gain, I'm thinking, because we spent 300,000 on construction. So we go 1 month. There we go, $200,000 profit. And things are looking good. Things are looking good, not gonna lie. Let me buy more of Shova. Shova's worth 260 million, so that was a good investment, I think. What's another I wish you could sort by country. Ooh, nope, not Caddy. That's Cadillac. Cotton. There we go. Oh, there's no shares available. They're all the shares are bought. Who bought the shares? So Dame owns 10%, and everyone else owns smaller than that, which is kind of not good. We could buy them. They're quite cheap. But of course, this is World War I, so they're actually not really selling cars. Nearly as much. Oh, evade. That's the equivalent of dodge. And we'll actually just sink money. That's a great buy. That's a great buy. We'll make a lot of money on that. Is there anyone that's as small as that, or is just evade looking like a nice hey-ho? Okay. That's a good one too. But again, this is World War I. Like, it's a little more unstable in Asia and stuff. And I'd say American companies are like 100% the best pick. Ooh, soaring. That's an interesting one. We're actually going to buy a little bit of that. Just so we can see in a second. Okay, that's all of them. We're going to go back to Shova. We're going to sell our shares there. You guys probably didn't think we are going to be buying crazy amount of stocks, but that's how you make a lot of money. Now we own 24% of Evade, which is the equivalent of Dodge, and Soaring, we own 20%, which is crazy. Our company is about to be soaring in cash. We'll do another 3 months. Now this is the opportunity in the game where you can really succeed because of rapidly increasing funds. Basically, you can just go ham. And since everyone starts off on the same footing with the same factories, which is like nothing pretty much, we can actually buy some stocks in our own company, which I'm going to buy, because let's buy some more. Our stock increased 40% in a month. It's doubled in 3 months, which is crazy. We might be looking at opening a new factory. So we've got one in Winnipeg, which isn't working right now. We've got one in New York, because that's where the population is. We could probably go to Mexico, I'm thinking. Even though it's a bad place to build a factory at the start, it is just very cheap, and the running costs over time are so much cheaper. Okay, so 7.8 million to build it versus 8.7 million to build it. Honestly, we might as well build it. It's a late game. It becomes a lot cheaper to build in countries like Mexico, or like, you know, not very rich countries, like not crazy rich countries. Mexico's, you know, relatively rich, but like if you compare like the US to Mexico, or like, for example, Austria to Turkey, you know, there's a lot more room to grow, I think, or let's say even Japan to China or India. A lot cheaper to build factories there. As the infrastructure, so how you get the cost of a factory being built is you look at the infrastructure and all their other stats here, and basically the higher stats, the cheaper it is to build typically, up to a point. Obviously, like in a richer city, it's going to cost more, right? But, you know, it produces more, and it's better to work in, but there's also higher wages, things like that. There's a lot of stuff to look at here. We'll go ahead, I think, and build it in Mexico City, probably. It's just expensive. It's a lot of money, honestly. I don't want to drop 7 million on a factory. We'll do one in Phoenix. No, that's 9 million. How about Los Angeles? 8 million. I'll actually do that, and we'll do it a 5 size. So Los Angeles is quite small right now, but that's okay. And I think come 1918, we'll actually start on a new project, I'm thinking. I think we can go for that land speed record. We've got a little bit of extra cash. We might as well shoot for the stars and make a really good sports car just for fun. We will upgrade this 2.7 and build a straight 6, I'm thinking. A 4.1 liter straight 6. And we'll supercharge it. Then we can go with single overhead cam. Oh, 111 horsepower. With honestly, I mean, a pretty technologically advanced engine, but it has pretty low quality parts still. We'll actually up the quality just a bit, I'm thinking. 180 torque. And we'll go 115 in the good old horsepower scale. Which seems... Actually, might as well just go all out here. Honestly, we might as well just like sink as much money as possible into this engine, because why not? So it's only going to cost us 150,000, 160,000 to develop, and we're gonna have a lot of power with this bad boy. We're gonna call this the 4.1 Gen 1 because what better name is there? 4.1 Gen 1, and we're gonna modify the chassis as well because there's no way it's gonna fit that straight 6. So supercharged straight 6, it's pretty impressive. But we can go for a backbone frame. We'll do that. It's a bit lighter, and we'll leave it on the trailing arm because it's like the best of a bad situation, really. And we'll actually increase the maximum supported engine length, which means it's going to cost just more in general, but I won't really add weight. We'll actually decrease the weight in general. Do a bit of both. So I want a lighter chassis that's also just better performance. It's going to cost more, obviously. The Gen 2 chassis weighs 630. We weigh 590. We can get it down to 490, which is crazy. And we'll do a bit. There we go. And we're going to call this the S1. The CH? No, we'll just call it the SH. Sure. Sounds like a reasonable name. And then we'll go and finish it off with a new transmission. And we'll go for it non-synchronized, of course, because that's all we have. We'll do a 5-speed, and we'll gear it just for performance. And we'll do, sure, like that. Just a bit better quality, things like that. Not bad. Not bad in a day's work. We've advanced a good few years. I think the next episode we're actually going to skip a lot more years. And we'll just sort of jump even farther around, I think, is what we'll do. So all that's done. We've got a very high performance vehicle coming in now, which is going to be awesome, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. No one really knows. But yeah, we've gone through a good 10 years in this episode, which is better than the last episode, I think, or almost 10 years, or what, 8 years? We'll do it real quick. Jump to, not 1 month, we'll do the year, and we'll see what we can do. Can we build the fastest car in the world right here? Okay, now the US is getting involved in World War I, slightly. That's what that notification was. So we're gonna have, we're taking a loss now because our factories aren't really doing nearly as much, only 50% output. Not great, and people aren't really buying as well, but... And we're still building a factory, actually. So that makes sense. I'm not worried about a $250,000 loss. We're doing okay. I think we'll actually invest some money in our pension, because it's only grown a bit. We'll invest $100,000. $1 million, there we go, because we got $1 million to spare. It's way better to invest early, just saying, than invest later. And we'll go modify our sports car, and we're going to go a new trim, but we're going to make it a new sports car in general. And we're going to call it the MKS still, but this will be called the MKS. Oh, 115 mile. Wait, is it the fastest? That's probably not the fastest, I don't. We're going to lower our safety quality. And we're going to increase our manufacturing techniques to just over 50%, because that'll actually give us the best weight. Like the least amount of, or it'll actually make us lose weight. We're actually getting quite a bit lighter. This will be for the upper crust of people. And we'll tune the, what else can we do here? Can we do anything? We'll just increase the market demographic testing to nearly full to make sure, you want to make sure this quality is always in check with importance, or else you're going to have recalls. Oh wait, it's going to cost us a lot. It's going to take us 13 months. 115 miles an hour, quite fast, honestly. And this is called the MKS Sport. The MKS Speedy. Speeder. No, Speedy. We only have 5 characters. That's fine. Now we can check here and see if we'll be the best. Ah, a Kramer Bubble beat it. Gosh darn it. That's really unfortunate. And I think we'll actually save it here. So we've got our car, the MKS Speedy. The MKS Speedy. I'm gonna forget that. The MKS Speedy is gonna be our halo car for the company. Why not? We've got a bit of cash to spare. Might as well have fun and build a car that's I mean, not as high volume sales, but it'll be a higher margin. You'll make a lot more money on those cars because obviously it's an expensive car and people pay more for those cars. But we're gonna end it off here. It's been a bit of a long video. Gearcity is a pretty long game. But next episode I'm gonna cut down the episodes because obviously if we play up to 2020, it's gonna be a heck of a long time. And I think I'll actually cut it down. I'll try to play like 15-20 years an episode and just cut it down to the important bits. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to join the Discord, linked in the description. If you guys like the video, leave a like. And as always, I'll see you next time.